The dawn of a new day heralded the cry of a bouncy baby girl. This took place on the 25th of November, 1915, when a miracle child, Hannah Ido Didiolu, was born into the Leongu ruling house of Pa Moses Odugbemi Adelano and Deaconess Elizabeth Adelano, née Oyeshile, both of blessed memory. Being the only survivor of her mother's 7 children, Hannah attended St. Saviour's Anglican School Ikenne in 1921 and later proceeded to Methodist Girls High School, Lagos for her secondary education. Thereafter, she returned to Ikenne to teach at St. Saviour's Anglican School from January 1934 to December 1936. Then came her heartthrob. Hannah Ido Didiolu was joined in holy matrimony to Chief Obafemi Awolowo on the 26th of December 1937 after 3 years of courtship, which produced late Segun Awolowo, Mrs. Tola Oyediran, late Oluwole Awolowo, late Ayodele Soyode, Ambassador Tokunbo Awolowo Dosunmu.
He knew what he wanted when he chose me as his wife. So he knew what he wanted. Up to the time of his death, he knew that he chose well.
She was an obedient wife, a wife that was really devoted to her husband's problems, She would go into Papa's room and they have hours of discussion and they plan the strategy for the day.
Their union was truly divinely ordained. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Because Papa loved Mama and cherished her and pampered her to distraction.
I think they shared a very deep love. After every 2 steps, Mama will say, "Where is Papa?" And after every 2 steps, Papa will look back and say, "Where is Mama?"
Which, by the way, is exactly how I know.
Yes.
It's really an incredible love story. And then you see, whenever Papa was weak, Mama was there, strong for him. And even when he was strong, she was stronger for him. When he was strong, she was also stronger for him.
Mama was a very pampered wife, I have to say. Papa was just amazing. You couldn't really offend him till you had offended Mama. But that said, she was his prop. She made everything happen.
From the onset, Mama demonstrated her commitment to the ideas of Papa Awolowo, which made her actively involved in his political campaigns and activities.
She's a special woman behind Chief Awolowo. And for Chief Awolowo to be successful politically, Mrs. Awolowo spent her time and finances to support Chief Awolowo. And all the time Chief Awolowo was in practice, was politically active, Mrs. Awolowo was not to be found wanting in taking care of the home front. She was really a woman who could be described as the alter ego of the husband.
In fact, Mama was the mainstay. Anytime we prepared for our campaigns, Mama will be the one to prepare the clothes Papa will wear every day for those 3 weeks. Then Mama prepared a separate van as his kitchen. His cook, because Papa will never eat anybody's food and his cooked food. His food and his cook is steward. And all the needs, all the raw materials for his food in a separate van. And once in a while, Mama will join us at one point in the campaigns.
It was therefore no surprise that this indefatigable woman, described by the late Siege as his jewel of inestimable value, became a rallying point for the political family built by her late husband, Chief Obafemi Awolowo.
In those days, if Papa was campaigning, say in Ibadan, you might find Mama campaigning in Oshogbo with some ladies with her. When the ban on politics was lifted, Papa had no car. It was Mama's car, I think WR145, long wheelbase, Mama's car that Papa was using.
When Papa was in jail, during the time of action group crisis and everything, Papa was incarcerated, he was in jail and everything. Mama was in charge. He even headed the party for him. And everything was intact. The family, the party, and the supporters outside. Mama was in charge.
When Papa was in Calabar, Papa wrote a letter to Mama that Mama should go ahead and campaign and contest for the election in that year. And hopefully if she won, then she would declare, a state of, pardon for him. And that would be a way of bringing him out of the prison because he was given a life sentence.
Described as a woman of many parts, Hannah Idowu Didiolu Awolowo successfully sustained the Tribune newspaper as chairman till her death.
One of the things with which she did with the husband was the founding of the Nigerian Tribune, of which she was the chairman of the board of directors until her death. And at no meeting of the board of directors you will find her dozing. She will remember everything.
She was chairman here for 64 years. Mama was never late for any meeting. The way she conducted meetings with us underscored the seriousness that she attached to the well-being of the Tribune newspapers. She was always telling us that she will one day give account to her husband.
Mama remained youthful all her life. She was just such an engaging person all her life. She was interested in everything. Mama read all the papers, every newspaper. She had a whole stack of newspapers every day. She read all the news, so she knew practically everything that was going on.
The main track of the Awolowo family was no doubt a successful businesswoman as her business grew in leaps and bounds across Ibadan, Shagamu, Lagos, and Ikenne.
She actually started her business at our residence in Okibola, where she used to sell foodstuffs. And she was also sewing there. She was trying to make up for Papa's absence from home because Papa traveled abroad to read law.
She used to work from the house. She used to sew. Then later she started selling fabrics a little, bit by bit until she moved to Gbagi.
She was running a store at the old Gbagi in Ibadan, the central business district of Ibadan, of Western region. And she had a shop there, Didiolu stores.
Ardent believer in God, pillar and strength of the Awolowo family, Mama H.I.D. was an Amazon of extraordinary courage who bore the vicissitudes of life without complaints.
It was one of those moments that you would never forget. It almost seemed like the impossible had happened. That Papa had actually just died. He wasn't ill. He wasn't. He wasn't killed. He just simply passed on. It was just an incredible moment. And I recall distinctly, that I felt that it just wasn't true.
The family suffered a number of very tragic events, the most important of which was the loss in a motor car accident of Shegun, her eldest son and my very close friend, with whom in fact I had been going out only the day before he died. The trauma of that time brought me very close to the family.
I remember when our late brother died in the motor accident. I remember the moment Mama arrived in the house in Ibadan. I remember that she was actually carried into the house. She was carried into the house. She wasn't, her eyes were dry, but she looked bewildered. I can never forget the look on her face. And she was devastated. But somehow she was able to draw from that inner strength to say that we must keep going. Even at that point, she never asked why God did that to her or say negative things about God.
But when it came to Ayo's tragedy, she was completely, she really broke down. But again, she had solace in Christ. And also, Uwalezo was something else, she didn't expect it at all. And she had a Christian fortitude. And she believed that there was nothing she could do, that it's not her fault that she's old, that she's experiencing these tragedies, that she can't query God for keeping her or for giving her long life. So at a particular stage, I think she became very quiet, and I couldn't explain why she was quiet, and I want to maybe suppose that the thing was before in her unconsciousness, and now it became conscious because she said, not many cars are passing and going, because Wale's apartment is just around, the corner around her own. And it was a real tragedy for her, but thank God that she survived it.
I think the first time I really saw her questioning God was when my uncle died. And she was checking why am I alive? Say all this, and so that's that's not your doing. It's God, so you can't question that. I think that was the only time I've seen her really, question that, and I was really affected her.
I won't pray that any mother has the same experience, because it's a terrible one. Because my husband, as you know, he was being in the prison. So I used to take food to him in the morning and in the evening. Shegun telephoned me and said, I shall be coming very early in the morning tomorrow to follow you to Papa, because he would like to see him before he goes to the inquiry. But up to the time I left the prison yard, I didn't see him. I started to feel some, funny things. But when I got back to the place where we were staying, I asked whether Shegun had called at all. They said no. I began to shake. I was asking everybody, did he call? Whether he has been to the Kuka inquiry? They said no. Then the next thing was that I had a telephone call, and he said, is that Mama Shegun? I said yes. I said, what happened? Oh, he said she just want to tell you that Shegun had a little accident on the Alomaja road, and that he's been taken to the hospital. But it would be nice if you are there to look after him. I started to think. Then I called my sister-in-law. That's Chief Awolowo's sister, because she was with me all the time. I said, this is what happened. They said Shegun had a small accident with small scratch, but he is in the hospital. He said, now? I said, yes. I said, you wait, because we've got to send food to your brother. So I'll be going back to Ibadan. But all the while, I wasn't myself. I wasn't myself. When I got to Shagamu, on the old road, Melo's house was on the old road, Sabo. I saw some of my cousins with their faces like, I don't know. I said, what happened? Oh, they said nothing, but we want to follow you to Ibadan. For what? Anyway, I started to cry. Then we were going, they said, no, Mama Shegun, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Don't kill yourself. Then we we carry on till Molete, and when we were about near our house, I saw a lot of people crying like mad. Then I nearly jumped out of the car. They all held me. They held me down not to jump out of the car. Then as soon as I want to put my foot down, there were 3 doctors waiting for me to be sedated.
Sedating you?
Yes.
Incredible.
But I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep. So it was a day which I will never in my life forget.
Very clearly, and very interesting for me, because I knew that she had, a good relationship with God through Jesus Christ, and I was impressed by the fact that she was prepared to restate that, because I wanted to be sure of what her relationship was like.
In recognition of her outstanding contributions to the society, Mama was honored with several titles, which include the title of Yeyoba of Ile-Ife, which means the king's mother, by the late Oni of Ife, Oba Sijuade Okunade. One striking quality of the matriarch is her great mental alertness.
Mama's mental alertness was phenomenal. It was out of this world. She remembered names, dates, family members' names, incidents. She did. She was just extraordinary.
When you get there, she will call you by your first name. Many of us who are associated with the late husband, she calls us by the first name and by the pet name that the husband calls us. She remembers everybody. He will call me, he used with his brothers calling me. Alfred Awolowo, Papa will call Alfredo. She will remember all that. There is no activity of affection that you can remember, say, oh, when we did this. And when she tells you, when long have you been here? And you say, Mama, I've just been here recently. I said, when? She will tell you, not that it is 2 years ago you came here. And this is the type of dress that you wore. You came with X, Y, Z. You just be stunned. She has a fantastic mental memory till her death.
Mama's memory was impeccable until the very end. Until the very end, very day. She was active to the very end, that very day. It was like a surprise. Nobody knew that Mama was going that day.
When I was with her one day, we were conversing at the big parlor. So somebody entered the big gate, and you should, if you know the distance between the gate and the parlor, you won't be surprised when that fellow entered. Mama told me, he mentioned the name, and he said the security may not allow him to enter. I said, Mama, how do you know from this place?
Very kind to a fault, a near perfectionist.
She always put herself in a position where she would be able to help people. It wasn't easy. You know, when Yoruba say, sometimes it's to refer to your need maybe to always save for a rainy day. But Mama's rainy day was about making sure that when these kids come running, when somebody comes running, I will still have enough.
Mama founded Young Women Christian Association, Agbeni Methodist Cathedral, Ibadan, in 19 1955, about 60, exactly 60 years ago. The essence of that association when she founded it was just to bring young people together, young women, and make them more useful to the society and to God.
Mama is a generous woman because there's nobody can do like her. If you don't want her to see you as you are coming, she knows that somebody said he want to see me. Where is the person? He goes so as you just come, that's why you just come. Any visitor or anybody, Mama is a very generous woman.
Mama liked us when she was alive. She took good care of us.
Takes us as our own grandchildren. She eats twice, breakfast and lunch. She doesn't take dinner. Once she accuses you of something, the best thing for you to do is to tell her how it happened. So you don't have to lie to her, just be truthful. And once she's correct, you just admit that yes, what she said, you did it, and you apologize. Sorry is a word that Mama loves so much.
Mama was not without her own pitfalls.
She wanted every grandchild to be a lawyer, and she wanted us all to line up in a straight line and go to court together every day, which wasn't possible.
Extremely demanding. And you just tell her you're coming to see her next week, you don't turn up, it's in her book, and even when you come, she will always remind you that's how you said you were coming last week, 17th, you did not come.
She didn't joke with money. You couldn't steal her 5 pence. And you couldn't also get her to buy anything for more than she was going to pay for it. She was very, very prudent, almost thrifty. She just didn't spend money loosely.
Fondly remembered by many, Mama died on the 15th of September 2015, just a few weeks to her centenary birthday.
I want to thank God for that glorious exit. And something very important happened. I was present. My sister Tokuma was present. She actually passed away in the presence of her 3 generations, which is very, very unusual.
Mama's life has been a joy to many.
This is a time to celebrate one of the greatest icons of humanity.
Richly blessed by God, she is survived by 2 daughters, in-laws, 20 grandchildren, and 34 great-grandchildren.
She was an epitome of everything you want to see in a human being, really. So one is bound to miss her in so many ways.
So I have very fond memories of Mama. Very fond memories of her indeed. It was an honor to be a member of her family, and for her to have given her eldest daughter to me in marriage. I think that's what I like to say about her.
Indeed, late Mama Hannah Ido Didiolu Awolowo was a great wife, quintessential mother, industrialist, and a national patriot.